Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the stars through the main screen. He had been exploring space for 10 years, but today felt different. His ship was 3 months into a routine patrol mission when something happened that would change everything. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Communications Officer Danny Foster. His voice was shaking. "It's not from Earth, it's coming from somewhere else." Jake walked over to Danny's station. The young officer had been with the crew for only 6 months, but he was good at his job. "What kind of signal?" "It's a message, sir, in English. Well, sort of English." Danny played the recording. A strange voice filled the bridge. It sounded careful, like someone learning to speak a new language. "Greetings, children of Earth. We are the Zilani. We come seeking harmony between our peoples. We wish to share knowledge, trade, and friendship. Please respond when you are ready." The bridge went quiet. Jake felt his heart beating fast. This was it. First contact with aliens. Every human had dreamed of this moment, but now that it was here, Jake felt scared. "Play it again," Jake said. They listened to the message 5 more times. The voice was calm and peaceful. The aliens called themselves the Zilani. They wanted to be friends. "Sir, what do we do?" asked Lieutenant Amy Collins from the science station. Jake thought hard. "Send the message to Earth Command. Tell them we've made first contact. Then we wait for orders." The message traveled back to Earth at light speed. It would take hours to reach home and hours more to get a reply. Jake paced the bridge, thinking about what this meant. Humans were not alone in the universe. On Earth, the message reached Admiral Lisa Rodriguez at Solar Defense Command. She was a tough woman who had spent her whole life protecting Earth from threats. When she heard the alien message, she did not think about friendship. She thought about danger. "They've been watching us," she said to her staff. "How long have they been out there? What do they really want?" Intelligence analyst Kevin Chang studied the message. "Admiral, they might be telling the truth. The message seems peaceful." "Or it's a trick," Admiral Rodriguez replied. "A peaceful message is what I would send if I wanted to catch an enemy off guard." The message also reached President Nicole Baker in Washington. She called an emergency meeting with her top advisors. The room was full of generals, scientists, and politicians. Everyone was talking at once. "This is the greatest moment in human history," said Dr. Patricia Lee, the government's top scientist. "We must respond with care and wisdom." General Marcus Brown disagreed. "We know nothing about these aliens. They could have weapons we can't imagine. We must show strength." President Baker listened to both sides. The scientists wanted to send a peaceful message back. The military wanted to send warships. The decision was the hardest of her life. "What if they're lying?" she asked. "What if this peaceful message is just a way to make us lower our guard?" Fear won. President Baker decided to send a military response. Back on the USS Liberty, Jake received new orders. He could not believe what he was reading. "We're being recalled to Earth," he told his crew. "They're sending the USS Vengeance to make contact with the aliens." Amy Collins looked shocked. "Sir, the Vengeance is a battleship. Why would they send a warship to meet peaceful aliens?" Jake had no answer. He was just a captain. Politicians and admirals made the big decisions. The USS Vengeance was Earth's newest and most powerful warship. Captain Alex Turner commanded the ship with pride. When he got orders to make first contact with aliens, he was excited. This would make him famous. "Prepare the fleet," Captain Turner told his crew. "We're going to show these aliens what human strength looks like." The Vengeance left Earth with 5 destroyer ships. It was the largest military force humans had ever sent into deep space. Commander Rachel Stone, the ship's tactical officer, made sure all weapons were ready. "Sir, are we expecting a fight?" she asked Captain Turner. "We're ready for anything," Turner replied. "If these aliens are peaceful, good. If not, they'll learn not to mess with humans." 3 weeks later, the human fleet reached the area where the alien message came from. They found 3 alien ships waiting for them. The alien ships were beautiful, with smooth curves and bright lights. They looked nothing like warships. On the lead alien ship, Ambassador Kethra waited nervously. She had spent months learning human language. She had prepared gifts of medicine and technology. She wanted this meeting to start a new age of peace between their peoples. When the human ships appeared, Kethra was confused. These were not the peaceful exploration ships she expected. These were weapons of war. "Why do they bring warships?" she asked her crew. "Did we say something wrong in our message?" The human fleet took battle positions around the alien ships. Captain Turner studied the aliens through his ship's sensors. "They're smaller than our ships," he reported to Earth, "but we can't tell what weapons they have." The aliens tried to send another peaceful message. "Welcome, humans. We are honored to meet you. Please, let us talk in peace." But Communications Officer Danny Foster, now serving on the Vengeance, was nervous. The alien language sounded strange to him. "Captain, I can't understand everything they're saying. It might be some kind of code." Fear and misunderstanding filled the space between the two fleets. The humans saw threats where none existed. The aliens saw weapons pointed at them when they had come in peace. Ambassador Kethra tried one more time. "Please, friends from Earth, we mean no harm. We bring gifts and knowledge. Why do you point weapons at us?" But her words were lost in translation and fear. The humans had made their choice. They had answered a call for peace with ships of war. Neither side knew that this moment would change the future of both species forever. Commander Rachel Stone watched the alien ships through her targeting screen. She had trained for combat her whole military career, but she had never faced real aliens before. Her hands were sweating as she held the weapon controls. "Captain Turner, the alien ships are moving," she reported. "They're spreading out in a formation." Captain Turner studied the tactical display. The three alien ships were moving slowly, keeping distance from each other. To him, it looked like a battle formation. He did not know the aliens were just trying to stay safe. "They're flanking us," Turner said. "Prepare weapons. Don't fire unless I give the order." On the alien flagship, Ambassador Kethra felt panic growing in her chest. The human warships had their weapons pointed at her small fleet. She ordered her ships to move further apart, hoping to show they were not a threat. "Keep distance from the humans," she told her pilots. "Do not let them think we want to fight." But her peaceful action looked like something else to the humans. Commander Stone saw the alien ships spreading out and moving to different positions. "Sir, they're trying to surround us," she warned Captain Turner. "Classic attack formation." Young pilot Vextor was flying the smallest alien ship. He was only 23 years old and had never been in a dangerous situation. When he saw the massive human weapons turning toward his ship, he became terrified. His hands shook on the controls. Without thinking, he pressed the emergency beacon button. It was meant to call for help if his ship was damaged, but the humans did not know what the signal meant. On the USS Vengeance, Communications Officer Danny Foster heard the alien signal. It was a loud, repeating tone that filled his headphones. He had never heard anything like it. "Captain, the aliens are sending some kind of signal," Danny reported. His voice was tight with fear. "It sounds like a targeting system, maybe. Like they're locking onto our ships." Captain Turner felt his blood run cold. A targeting signal meant the aliens were about to attack. He had seconds to make a decision. "All ships, prepare for defensive action," he ordered over the fleet radio. "Weapons free. Fire warning shots." Ambassador Kethra saw the human weapons charging up. Bright energy gathered at the tips of their cannons. She tried desperately to send another message. "Please, we do not understand. We are peaceful. Why do you prepare to fire?" But her words came too late. Captain Turner had already given the order. "Fire warning shots. Show them we mean business." The human warships opened fire, but what humans called warning shots were more powerful than anything the aliens had ever seen. The energy beams cut through space like swords of light. The first beam missed the alien flagship by only a few meters, but the energy was so strong that it damaged the ship's hull. Alarms began ringing as air leaked out into space. The second beam hit young Vextor's ship directly. The pilot had no time to scream. His small vessel exploded in a ball of fire and metal. Vextor died instantly, along with 5 other young aliens who were on their first space mission. The third beam struck the science ship carrying Dr. Morvan and her research team. The ship broke apart like glass. 17 alien scientists died. In seconds, their research and hope scattered among the stars. Ambassador Kethra watched in horror as 2 of her ships were destroyed. These were her friends, her colleagues. Some had families waiting at home. Now they were gone. "Why?" she whispered. "We came in peace." The surviving alien ship was badly damaged but still working. Kethra's pilot, an older alien named Nexra, grabbed the controls. "Ambassador, we must leave now," he said. "The humans want to kill us." "No," Kethra replied, tears falling from her strange eyes. "There must be some mistake. They cannot want war." On the USS Vengeance, Captain Turner watched the alien ships burning. He felt sick to his stomach. The warning shots had been much more effective than expected. "Sir, 2 alien ships are destroyed," Commander Stone reported. Her voice was quiet. "The third one is retreating." Captain Turner had expected the aliens to surrender or run away. He had not expected to kill anyone. These were supposed to be warning shots. Communications Officer Danny Foster was listening to the alien radio signals. What he heard made his heart break. "Captain, the aliens are sending a message," he said quietly. "What are they saying?" Turner asked. Danny listened carefully to the translation computer. The alien words were full of sadness and pain. "They're asking why we chose war when they offered peace, sir. They're crying." The bridge of the Vengeance went silent. Every human crew member felt the weight of what had just happened. They had come expecting to meet dangerous enemies. Instead, they had killed peaceful visitors. Ambassador Kethra's damaged ship limped away from the battle site. She recorded one final message to send to both human and alien space. "My name is Kethra of the Zolani Confederation. Today, 17 of my people died. They were scientists, explorers, and young pilots. They came here with gifts and hope. We do not understand why you chose violence when we offered friendship. We will remember this day forever." The message reached Earth hours later. When Admiral Rodriguez heard it, she felt something she had never felt before. Doubt. "Ma'am, our ships report the aliens had no weapons," her aide told her. "Their ships were designed for exploration, not war." Admiral Rodriguez sat down heavily, in her chair. "No weapons? None at all?" "None, ma'am. They were completely defenseless." On the USS Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison received the battle report. He read it 3 times, hoping he had made a mistake. But the words stayed the same. 17 alien scientists killed. Ships destroyed. First contact had become first blood. Amy Collins found Captain Morrison staring out at the stars. "Sir, are you all right?" Jake did not turn around. "We were supposed to be explorers, Amy. We were supposed to find new friends among the stars. Instead, we became killers." "Maybe there was no other choice," Amy said softly. "There's always another choice," Jake replied. "We just made the wrong one." Back on Earth, President Baker received the full report. The aliens had been peaceful. Their ships carried medicine, technology, and gifts for humanity. Instead of receiving these gifts, humans had destroyed the ships and killed the aliens inside. Dr. Patricia Lee studied the alien ship designs. Every piece of technology was designed for peace. There were no weapons, no shields, no armor. The aliens had trusted humans completely. "Madam President," Dr. Lee said during the emergency meeting, "we have made a terrible mistake." But it was too late for regrets. The message was already spreading through alien space. 17 peaceful beings were dead. The Zolani Confederation would have to decide how to respond. Some aliens would want revenge. Others would want to forgive. But all of them would remember that when humanity was offered friendship, they chose to respond with death. The stars seemed darker that night, as if the universe itself was mourning for the peace that might have been. The news of the dead scientists spread through Zolani space like fire. On the homeworld of Zolani Prime, families gathered around communication screens, watching the terrible images over and over again. Morvan's wife, Sela, held their 2 young children as they cried. Their mother had been on the science ship that exploded. She had been studying human language for months, excited to meet Earth's people. Now she was gone. Why did the humans kill Mama? Asked their youngest child, a small girl named Kira. Sela had no answer. She had taught her children that the universe was full of friends waiting to be discovered. Now she wondered if she had been wrong. In the Great Council chamber, leaders from 3 different alien species met to decide what to do. The Zelani were peaceful by nature. The Vorlak were traders who loved to make deals. The Thrakari were warriors, but they had learned to choose peace over war. War Counselor Drexhan of the Thrakari stood before the council. His people had not fought a war in over 100 years, but the old fighting spirit still lived in their hearts. The humans have shown us who they really are, Drexhan said, his voice full of anger. We offered them friendship and they gave us death. We must respond with strength or they will think we are weak. Ambassador Kethra sat in the corner, still wearing bandages from her escape. She had lost many friends in the human attack, but she did not want revenge. Council members, she said quietly, we must not judge all humans by the actions of a few. Perhaps they were scared. Perhaps they made a mistake. A mistake? Drexhan roared. 17 of our people are dead. Young Vextor had just graduated from pilot school. Dr. Morvan was going to have another child. These were not mistakes, these were murders. Elder Thanra of the Vorlak spoke carefully. What do we know about human nature? Are they all violent or just some of them? The council looked at their intelligence reports. Humans fought wars among themselves often. They had weapons everywhere on their planet. Their history was full of violence and conquest. But there were other facts too. Humans made beautiful art and music. They loved their families. They explored space to learn, not just to conquer. They were complicated beings, capable of both great good and great evil. While the aliens debated, Captain Jake Morrison was flying back to Earth on the USS Liberty. He had spent weeks in deep space watching and listening. What he found made him sick with worry. The aliens he had observed were clearly peaceful. Their ships carried scientific equipment, not weapons. They had children on board some vessels. They sang songs to each other across the void of space. Captain, we need to tell Earth Command what we've learned, said Amy Collins. She had been studying the alien radio signals for days. These beings are not our enemies. Jake nodded grimly. I know, but will anyone listen? When the USS Liberty reached Earth, Jake immediately requested a meeting with Admiral Rodriguez. He brought video recordings, radio intercepts, and detailed reports. Admiral, the aliens are not hostile, Jake said, spreading his evidence across her desk. Look at these ship designs. Look at their communications. They're explorers and scientists, just like us. Admiral Rodriguez studied the files. She saw alien children playing games in their ship corridors. She saw scientists working on medical research. She saw families saying goodbye as their loved ones left on the peace mission that ended in death. My God, she whispered. What have we done? Dr. Patricia Lee had been analyzing the alien broadcasts from the battle. She worked day and night trying to understand every word and signal. What she found made her hands shake. The mathematical sequences, she told her research team. They're not random, they're proofs. Proofs of what? Asked her assistant. Proofs of peaceful intent. Universal mathematical concepts that any intelligent species would recognize as friendly. The aliens were trying to show us they came in peace, but we ignored the signals. Dr. Lee requested an emergency meeting with President Baker. She brought charts and graphs showing the alien communication patterns. Madam President, every single alien message contained these mathematical proofs. They were desperately trying to show us they were friendly. We either missed the signals completely or someone chose to ignore them. President Baker felt ice in her stomach. Are you saying someone knew the aliens were peaceful? I'm saying, the evidence was there, ma'am. Whether it was incompetence or something worse, I don't know. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Hayes had been conducting his own investigation. As head of military intelligence, he had access to all the classified reports from the first contact incident. What he found made him angry. Several military advisors had received the mathematical proofs that Dr. Lee discovered. They had also received translations showing the aliens were clearly peaceful. But these reports had been marked low priority and buried in paperwork. Some officers had even argued that showing weakness by responding peacefully would encourage alien invasion. They believed that only strength would keep Earth safe. Steve Hayes brought his findings to Admiral Rodriguez. "Admiral, we had the information. We knew they were peaceful, but some people in the command structure wanted a military response regardless." "Admiral," Rodriguez felt betrayed. "Who? Give me names." General Brown was the main voice pushing for military action. Colonel Wade Parker supported him. They believed that any alien contact should be met with force, whether the aliens were peaceful or not. While humans debated their mistakes, the Solani Council continued their discussions. More and more aliens were calling for revenge. The images of the destroyed ships played on every news channel across their worlds. But then something unexpected happened. A message arrived from space. It was from a single human ship, flying alone and unarmed. The message was broadcast on all frequencies so everyone could hear it. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth vessel Liberty. I am speaking to any alien who will listen. What happened at the contact site was wrong. 17 innocent beings died because of human fear and stupidity. We are not all like the ones who killed your people. Some of us want peace. Some of us are ashamed of what our species did." The message continued. "I know words cannot bring back the dead. I know you have every right to hate us. But please, give us one more chance. Let us prove that humans can choose peace over war." Ambassador Kethra listened to the message in her hospital room. She had been thinking about the young human communication officer she had heard during the battle. He had sounded scared and confused, not evil. "Perhaps," she said to herself, "there is still hope." War Counselor Drexhan heard the message too. "One ship," he said. "One human speaking for his entire species. It means nothing." But Elder Thonra disagreed. "It means some humans have conscience. It means some of them can feel shame for their actions. That is something we can work with." The Zalani Council faced the hardest decision in their history. They could choose revenge and war. They could choose to ignore humanity forever. Or they could gamble on the idea that some humans were better than others. Ambassador Kethra made a request that shocked everyone. "I want to go back," she said. "I want to meet with the humans one more time." "Are you insane?" Drexhan asked. "They tried to kill you once. They'll try again." "Maybe," Kethra replied. "But if there's even a small chance for peace, we must try. The dead deserve better than a war fought in their names." The council voted. It was close, but Kethra's request was approved. The aliens would give humanity one final chance. But this time, they would send something that would test human nature to its core. They would send the families of the dead scientists, along with Ambassador Kethra's own daughter, Zaina. If humans would kill defenseless families, then there could never be peace. But if humans could feel guilt and shame when faced with their victims' loved ones, then maybe both species could find a way forward. The message went out to Earth. "We are sending our families to you, the wives, husbands, and children of those you killed. If you are truly sorry, prove it. If you are not, then we will know what humans really are." The universe held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would choose. The alien ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system 3 weeks later. It was small and white, with no weapons visible anywhere on its hull. Inside were 12 alien families, and Ambassador Kethra's daughter, Zaina. Admiral Lisa Rodriguez watched the ship approach through the tracking station monitors. For the first time in her military career, she felt truly afraid. Not afraid of enemy weapons or battle tactics, but afraid of seeing the faces of those she had helped to wrong. "Ma'am, the alien ship is requesting permission to land," reported her communications officer. "Where do they want to land?" Rodriguez asked. "They're asking to come to Washington, D.C., ma'am. They want to speak with our leaders face to face." President Nicole Baker sat in the Oval Office, staring at photos of the alien families. Dr. Patricia Lee had provided detailed information about each family coming to Earth. There was Selah, the wife of scientist Morvan, bringing her 2 young children. There was old Nextar, whose son Vextor had been the young pilot killed in the first moments of the battle. "Madam President, we have to meet with them," Dr. Lee said. "It's the right thing to do." General Marcus Brown disagreed strongly. "This is a trap, ma'am. They're bringing their families to make us feel guilty. Don't fall for it." "Guilty?" President Baker looked at the general with sharp eyes. "We should feel guilty, General. 17 innocent beings are dead because of our mistakes. They were aliens, ma'am. Our first duty is to protect humanity." "Our first duty is to do what's right," President Baker replied. "And right now that means facing the consequences of our actions." Captain Jake Morrison volunteered to lead the welcoming committee. He had been having nightmares since learning about the peaceful alien mission. Every night he dreamed of the explosion that killed young Vextor. "I want to be there when they land," Jake told Admiral Rodriguez. "I need to apologize in person." "Jake, this could be dangerous. We don't know what they really want." "They want justice, Admiral, and maybe, if we're lucky, they'll give us a chance to earn forgiveness." Admiral Rodriguez made a decision that surprised everyone, including herself. "I'm going to. If anyone should face these families, it should be the person who gave the orders." Captain Alex Turner, commander of the USS Vengeance, also requested to attend the meeting. He had not slept properly since the battle. The faces of the aliens he had killed haunted him every waking moment. "I pulled the trigger," he told his wife before leaving for Washington. "I have to face what I did." But not everyone wanted peace. Colonel Wade Parker had been working in secret to prevent any reconciliation with the aliens. He believed that showing weakness would invite more alien visitors, and eventually an invasion. "We're making a huge mistake," Parker told his supporters. "Give aliens an inch, and they'll take our whole planet." Parker developed a plan to sabotage the peace meeting. If the alien families died during their visit to Earth, it would prove they couldn't be trusted. It would also ensure that no other aliens would ever try to make contact. Parker's team planted explosive devices around the landing site where the alien ship would arrive. The bombs were designed to look like alien weapons so humans would think the aliens had attacked first. Chief Engineer Tony Martinez was performing a routine security check when he found the first bomb. His hands shook as he carefully examined the device. "This is human technology," he whispered to himself. "Someone is trying to frame the aliens." Tony immediately called Admiral Rodriguez. "Ma'am, we have a problem. Someone has planted bombs at the landing site." Human bombs. Rodriguez felt sick. "How many bombs?" "At least 6 that I've found so far. There could be more." "Who would do this?" Tony had been watching the security cameras. "Colonel Parker was here last night, ma'am. He had a team with him." Admiral Rodriguez ordered Parker's immediate arrest. When security forces surrounded him, Parker showed no shame for his actions. "You're all fools," he said as they put handcuffs on him. "You're going to get us all killed by trusting these aliens." "The only person trying to kill anyone is you, Colonel," Rodriguez replied. The bomb disposal team worked for hours to remove all the explosives. During the search, they found Parker's complete plan. He had intended to kill the alien families and blame it on alien treachery. President Baker was furious when she learned about the sabotage plot. She immediately called a press conference to tell the world what had almost happened. "Some members of our military tried to murder innocent alien families," she announced. "They wanted to prevent peace between our species. This shows how far some humans will go to choose war over friendship." The alien ship landed at Andrews Air Force Base, under heavy security, but this time, the security was to protect the aliens, not to threaten them. Zaina was the first to step off the ship. She was young, maybe 25 in human years, with the same gentle features as her mother, Ambassador Kethra. Behind her came the families of the dead. Sela held her 2 children's hands tightly. Little Kira looked around with wide, frightened eyes. She had never seen humans before, and she was scared they might hurt her family too. Captain Morrison stepped forward. First, He had practiced his words many times, but when he saw the alien families, all his prepared speeches disappeared. "I'm sorry," he said simply. "I'm sorry we failed you. I'm sorry your loved ones are dead because of our fear." Admiral Rodriguez came next. The tough military leader who had never shown weakness in front of anyone fell to her knees in front of Sela. "Your husband came in peace," Rodriguez said, tears running down her face. "He brought gifts and hope, and we killed him. I gave the orders that led to his death. I will carry that shame for the rest of my life." Captain Turner couldn't speak at all. He just stood there looking at old Nextar, whose son he had killed with his own hands. The old alien looked back at him with eyes full of sadness but not hatred. President Baker arrived to personally apologize to each family. When she knelt before little Kira, the alien child reached out and touched the president's face. "Why are you crying?" Kira asked in her small voice. "Because my people hurt your mama," President Baker replied. "And that was very wrong." "Will you hurt us too?" Kira asked. "No, sweetheart. Never. We're going to make sure nothing bad happens to you ever again." Zaina had been watching the humans carefully. She had expected anger or false politeness. Instead, she saw genuine grief and shame. These humans were truly sorry for what their species had done. "My mother sent me to judge your people," Zaina told the gathered humans. She wanted to know if humans could feel guilt for their actions. "I see now that some of you can." "We can do more than feel guilt," President Baker said. "We can change. We can be better." "But can all humans change?" Zaina asked, "Or just some of you?" President Baker thought about Colonel Parker and the others who had wanted to continue the violence. "Not all of us," she admitted. "Some humans will always choose fear over hope, but many of us want to choose differently. That's all we can ask for," Zaina replied. "My people are not perfect either. Some want revenge for our dead, but others believe that peace is worth the risk of trusting you again." The meeting lasted for hours. The alien families shared stories about their lost loved ones. Dr. Morvan had been working on cures for diseases that affected both humans and aliens. Pilot Vextor had dreamed of exploring the galaxy and making friends with every species he met. As the sun set, Zaina made an announcement that surprised everyone. "I will stay on Earth as my mother's representative. If humans are truly ready to choose peace, then we must learn to live together. I will teach you about our people, and you will teach me about yours." Admiral Rodriguez looked at the young alien with respect. "That's very brave of you. After what we did to your people, you have every right to hate us." "Hate is easy," Zaina replied. "Peace is hard, but the hard choice is usually the right choice." President Baker made her own announcement. "I am establishing a new Department of Interspecies Relations. Captain Morrison will lead it. Admiral Rodriguez will serve as our first ambassador to the Alien Confederation." "But what about Colonel Parker and others like him?" asked Captain Turner. "They will face justice," President Baker replied, "and we will prove that humans can choose to be better than our worst impulses." The alien families returned to their ship that evening, but they carried with them something they had not expected to find: hope. The humans were not all monsters. Some of them could learn from their mistakes. As Zaina watched the stars from her new home on Earth, she wondered if her mother had been right to give humanity another chance. Only time would tell if humans could truly change, or if their peaceful words were just another kind of lie. But for the first time since the tragedy began, both species had reason to believe that peace might be possible after all. 6 months later, representatives from both species met on Luna Station, a neutral meeting place built on Earth's moon. The station had been constructed in just 4 months, with both humans and aliens working together. It was a symbol of what the two peoples could accomplish when they chose cooperation over conflict. Ambassador Zaina walked through the station's main corridor, amazed at what she saw. Human children were playing games with young Zalani. Scientists from both species worked side by side in the research labs. In the cafeteria, families shared meals and stories across the language barrier. Captain Jake Morrison, now Director of Interspecies Relations, met Zaina at the observation deck. Through the large windows, they could see Earth hanging in space like a blue marble. "Hard to believe it's only been 6 months, Jake said. "Sometimes it feels like we've been friends forever. And sometimes it feels like yesterday that your people killed mine," Zaina replied quietly. Jake nodded. The pain would never fully go away for either species. But they had learned to build something positive from their shared tragedy. "The final treaty talks begin tomorrow," Jake said. "Are your people ready?" "As ready as we can be," Zaina answered. There are still some who oppose this alliance. War Counselor Drexhan leads the opposition. He believes humans are too dangerous to trust. He's not wrong, Jake admitted. We can be dangerous. But we're trying to be better. In the days leading up to the treaty signing, both sides had worked hard to prove their good intentions. Admiral Rodriguez had overseen the conversion of the USS Vengeance from a warship into a medical vessel. The ship that had once carried weapons of destruction now carried doctors and medical supplies to help both human and alien colonies. Captain Turner, who had fired the shots that killed the alien scientists, now commanded the medical ship. He had volunteered for the assignment, saying he wanted to save as many lives as he had taken. "It doesn't make up for what I did," Turner told Dr. Patricia Lee as they prepared for their first joint medical mission. "But maybe it's a start." Dr. Lee had become the chief scientist for human-alien cooperation. She had spent months learning alien biology and sharing human medical knowledge. The breakthrough came when she discovered that human and alien diseases were similar enough that treatments could be shared. "Captain Turner," she said, "you've already saved more lives than you took. The medicine we've developed together will help millions of beings on both sides." The biggest challenge came from Earth itself. Not all humans supported the alliance with the aliens. General Brown had been forced to retire, but he had supporters who believed humanity was making a mistake. "We're giving away our secrets to aliens," complained Senator Robert Hayes during a heated debate in Congress. "What happens when they turn our own technology against us?" President Baker stood firm. "We're not giving away anything, Senator. We're sharing knowledge to make both species stronger. That's what friends do." "These aliens aren't our friends," Senator Hayes shot back. "They're still angry about their dead scientists. This whole peace treaty is just a way for them to get revenge later." But President Baker had seen the alien families up close. She had looked into their eyes and seen their genuine desire for peace. If they wanted revenge, Senator, they could have taken it already. They chose forgiveness instead. The least we can do is honor that choice. On the alien side, War Counselor Drexhan continued to oppose the treaty. He spoke to large crowds on Zelani Prime, warning them about human nature. "Humans are violent by instinct," he declared. "Look at their history. They fight wars constantly. They kill their own kind for resources and territory. What makes you think they won't do the same to us?" But his arguments were losing strength. Young aliens who had worked with humans on Luna Station told different stories. They spoke of human kindness, human curiosity, and human willingness to admit mistakes. Elder Thonra supported the treaty. "Yes, humans can be violent," he told the Zelani Council, "but they can also be compassionate. They chose to face their victims' families and ask for forgiveness. That shows courage we should respect." Ambassador Kethra, still recovering from her injuries, made a final speech to the council. "My daughter has lived among humans for 6 months. She has seen their best and worst qualities. Zaina believes they can change. If she can forgive them, so can we." The night before the treaty signing, Zaina couldn't sleep. She walked through Luna Station's quiet corridors, thinking about everything that had happened. In the memorial garden, she found Captain Turner sitting alone on a bench. "Can't sleep either?" she asked, sitting down beside him. Turner looked up, surprised. "I was thinking about Vextor, the young pilot I killed. He was about your age, wasn't he?" "Yes," Zaina replied. "He wanted to be an explorer. He dreamed of visiting 100 different worlds. I took that away from him," Turner said quietly. "I took away his dreams, his future, everything." Zaina was quiet for a moment. "You also gave something back. The medical ship you command has already saved 53 lives. Vextor would be proud of that. How can you forgive me? Turner asked, how can any of you forgive us? Because forgiveness is the only way forward, Zaina answered. Hatred and revenge lead nowhere but to more death. We choose to believe that humans can be better than their worst moment. The next morning, representatives from both species gathered in Luna Station's main conference room. The treaty had been negotiated carefully over many months. It established trade relationships, scientific exchanges, and mutual defense agreements. President Baker signed first, her hand shaking slightly as she wrote her name. On behalf of humanity, I pledge that we will never again respond to peaceful contact with violence. Ambassador Kethra, attending virtually from her hospital bed, added her signature. On behalf of the Zelani Confederation, we accept humanity as our partners in exploring the galaxy. But the most important signature came from an unexpected source. Little Kira, now 7 years old, had learned to write her name in both alien and human script. She signed as a representative of the next generation. I want humans and Zelani to be friends forever, she said in her small voice. No more fighting. No more being scared of each other. Admiral Rodriguez was appointed as humanity's first ambassador to the Zelani Confederation. As she prepared to leave for alien space, she visited the memorial wall where the names of the 17 dead scientists were engraved. I promise you, she said to the names on the wall, your deaths will not be meaningless. We will build the peace you came here to create. Dr. Patricia Lee established the first joint human-alien research facility on Luna Station. Scientists from both species worked together on projects that would benefit everyone. The first major breakthrough was a cure for a disease that affected both humans and Zelani. Captain Morrison created the Interspecies Academy, where young people from both species could learn together. The first class included children who had lost parents in the conflict, now working side by side to prevent future tragedies. 1 year after the treaty signing, War Counselor Drexhan visited Luna Station. He had remained opposed to the alliance, but he wanted to see for himself what humans and aliens had built together. What he found changed his mind. He saw human doctors working around the clock to save alien patients. He saw alien engineers teaching human children about advanced technology. He saw two species that had learned to trust each other despite their tragic first meeting. Perhaps, Drexhan admitted to Zaina, I was wrong about humans. They are capable of growth. We all are, Zaina replied. That's what makes this alliance possible. The story ended not with a grand celebration, but with a quiet moment in the Luna Station school. Human and alien children sat together, learning each other's languages and sharing stories from their worlds. Little Kira, now 8 years old, was teaching a human boy named Tommy how to count in her language. Tommy was teaching her to play baseball, with a soft ball that wouldn't break the station windows. Captain Morrison watched them play and remembered the dark day when first contact had gone so wrong. Now these children would grow up as friends, never knowing a time when their species were enemies. This is what we were meant to achieve, Morrison said to Zaina as they watched the children play. Yes, she agreed. This is what peace looks like. The treaty had saved both species from a war that neither wanted. More importantly, it had proven that even the worst mistakes could be overcome through courage, honesty, and the willingness to choose hope over fear. In the end, humanity's greatest strength had not been their weapons or their technology. It had been their ability to recognize their mistakes, face their victims, and choose to become better than they were before. The stars no longer seemed dark and dangerous. They were filled with friends, partners, and endless possibilities for both species to explore together.